Okay, the very first variety I got here is phlox. Even though we're going down, getting close to the end of the summer, heading into fall soon, but still we've got some perennials here that's really still good and showing some really good color. It's not showing too much of an effect of fall season color yet, even though we are starting to move that varieties into current. You can go ahead and stroll down. These are a list of some of the varieties I had this over there, this in the old dock. As you can see, the phlox, they're very canful, lush green, and they're just loaded with flowers. So if you still have some customers who are still picky, they'd like to have something with some flowers still, you can't go wrong. And for some of these phlox right here, and these are the 4 varieties right now that's looking outstanding. Now this is the Aster ericodes Snow Furry. This is actually a newer variety. This is our second canning of this variety. We did have some can early in the season, which you did sell through, but I don't think we ever did an introduction for this one. What's great about this variety is good for planting in your rock gardens. It's a really good selective choice of plant when you got those really steep hillsides, because it has a very good aggressive rooting system, which allows to actually be a bond when it comes to the soil. So you don't get too much of landslides and everything like that. So not only can it help you get a strong structure in your yard, but as you can see, planting in the right place, it gives you some brilliant colors. And it's more of a dwarf spreader. So it'll hang down, as you can see, for you guys in this landscape. So it's a very good variety to pick from. So you get a double win for these. And as you can see, it's got a lot of good pure white flowers. It's just starting to get some buzz for these varieties right here. It likes being the average wet soil, which is good for the landscape and everything like that. But like I said, this is one of the newer varieties we have, and this is our second canning for this variety right here. Okay, the Stephanandra crispa. This right here, this is a 3-gallon. I can't tell you how much of a good, a great bargain you're gonna be getting for this variety right here. It is just overflowing on that can. I should have put a measuring stick on that so you have a really good idea the size of this beauty. So what's great about it, it won't take very many of these varieties to fill up any kind of landscape you got for this. It has a beautiful white flower to this variety, more of a yellowish white. Like I said, this is in a 2-gallon. So as you can see, it's a great bargain hunt for this one. It's can full, and it's not showing any kind of fall color issues to it right now. So I would like to say just to get these while you can before we start starting to see some fall colors to it. But like I said, great bargain for this variety right here. Next picture, please. Rose Ringo All-Star, like the Beatles. Hey, this is what you want to get. You got some beautiful flowers to this variety. It's a 2-gallon. As you can see, it is just, it's coming out of this, I think it's one of the final trims that I did for this variety right here. As you can see, it is can full, loaded with buds and flower. And usually, it reminds me of a Nearly Wild series we usually get years ago. But like I said, that's a beautiful flower. And like I said, if you're a beetle fan, this is the variety you want to get. Next picture, please. We're always talking about knockouts, easies, and then, like I said, the Oso series, but let's not forget about these drifts. As you can see, this is the some of the gooder or nicer varieties when it comes to the drifts. We also have it in 2 gallons as well as in 19 centimeters. If you scroll down, these are the varieties you want to aim for. You can keep going. You keep going. These varieties want to aim for it, and this can give you a good idea what it looks like. Now, this is the 2 gallons and the 19 centimeter as well. So we still got some really good buds and blooms on these roses.
The next variety I have for you is I want to say Retivita pinnata. These are the first time I've seen these flower. The foliage is really kind of interesting. It's a different type of echinacea. It is an American Beauty. We don't have a whole lot of these in current, a little bit less than 200. But the flower is very similar to an echinacea. The petals are going to point down. The common name, gray-headed coneflower, the middle is a little bit lighter than a typical coneflower. And they don't get quite as spiky. A lot of these are not in flower, but the foliage is fantastic. They're can full, and they'll look really great on anybody's still existing American Beauty stands. And the Lobelia syphilitica, cardinal flower, but they're in blue. And they're really small flowers. It's a very different type of lobelia that I've never seen before. Also, a little bit less than 500 here. These are your typical pollinator. They're going to draw birds, butterflies, bees, all sorts of things in there. And trust me when I say that everything right now is loaded with butterflies and bees. So if you are giving tours, especially if you drive around the Euphotorium or anything that's native beauties, check for those butterflies and bees because they are swarming everything. These are just really nice varieties. And keep in mind, there is going to be a little bit of fall foliage. We go to that on Monday. This past week is the first week I've had to close my own greenhouse. So they're going to start browning around the foliage or just lowering the water because it's not as hot. They're not able to soak all the water up at the same time. So some of them might start to look a little bit more fall ready. And next picture, please, the Baptisia australis. These look absolutely fantastic in the pots right now, very well rooted. And once they do grow up into their blue flowers, they get real nice and full, almost shrubby. But all of these, if you scroll down just a little bit and take a look at that house, the house looks absolutely fantastic. So all these plants are really nice to get out right now. And then I have two Monarda for you. We already know quite a bit about the Monarda. We have a ton of varieties. We sell them all year. These just look really nice, can full. Some of them are going to start budding and flowering. But the two varieties that I wanted to showcase for you are the cherry pops and the grape gumball. And large quantities of both of those still ready to go out if you're looking for something that's going to be a showstopper in your garden. Next one is the ficus brown turkey, small tree. There's 2 fruit harvests per year. They're very highly adaptable trees, very low maintenance as far as pruning goes. And they do grow fig fruits, which are edible. And the picture in the top right there, it's kind of hard to see, but tucked into the foliage there is the start of a fig on our ficus. So you can sell these ficus, and also a selling point on these is that they have fruit started ready to go. And the last one, we're always looking at different Rudbeckia varieties every week. Keep in mind that some of these varieties do have some pretty serious fall foliage, but these are really nice. They're can full, lots of flowers, lots of blooms ready to go on these also. A little bit less than 1,000 left of this variety, but I still have more in other houses that are either coming out of a trim or are new canning and are getting ready to go on.
All right, Jeff at Long Road.
First up is Acer Frank's Red. I know we talked about this particular tree quite a bit this year, but this is in a 5-gallon. This is our 2nd year for doing it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that we focused on.
Mhm. So these were stump cut, run up all year long. They have good branching. As you can see, they're over 6 foot tall. I believe the spec on these is 48 inch, so you are getting a really good bargain for these. It's not really full like you would expect out of like a 15-gallon tree, but it has really good branching, foliage is clean, and these are ready to go. And then sticking with the American Beauty program, next these are all going to be 3-gallon ABs. First up is the Cinnamon Triloba or the Pawpaw. This does have same thing, clean foliage, good structure, and ran up to about 4.5 feet. And next up is the Diospyros virginiana or the persimmons. Both these varieties will get a fruit on them, and they are edible as far as I know. And then one of my favorites is the Liriodendrons lipifera. These things are ginormous. So they just moved them out of the greenhouse, I believe, in the last week or so. These are probably closer to 8 feet tall. If you can see the stick on the very far left, trying to get a good picture of what the whole crop looks like. Obviously, everything looks really good, but you can see the branching that's kind of sticking out from that first one in the corner.